It didn't begin with thunder. There was no divine light, no warning from the sky. It began with a normal morning. People woke up, checked their phones, drank their coffee, complained about time. The world was moving exactly as it always did. Until it didn't. In cemeteries across the world, the ground began to shift. Not violently. Not like an explosion. But like breathing. Hands emerged first. Then faces. Then entire bodies, rising slowly, calmly, as if death had only been a short sleep. They were not monsters. They were not ghosts. They were people. Same faces. Same scars. Same memories carved into their skin. But their eyes were different. Quiet, deep, knowing. The dead had returned. Cities froze. Cars stopped in the middle of the road. Phones slipped from shaking hands. Mothers stared at children they had buried years ago. Lovers stood face to face with goodbyes they never finished. No one screamed at first, because fear needs time to understand what it sees. They didn't attack. They didn't shout. They didn't ask for food, money, or revenge. They only watched, as if they had come to witness something we had forgotten. I saw my father among them. He stood in front of me, exactly as I remembered him, but without pain, without exhaustion. You're alive. I whispered. He smiled softly and said, life and death were never what you thought they were. Governments collapsed into confusion. Laws lost their meaning. Science fell silent. Because how do you explain the return of the dead with logic? The most terrifying part wasn't their presence. It was their calm. Those who died in wars stood before generals. Those who were judged unfairly stood before judges. Those who were broken stood before those who broke them. And no one could hold their gaze for long. Because eyes that have seen death do not lie. Someone asked them, "Why are you here?" And the answer spread like a whisper through the world. We came back because you forgot how to live. Crime began to fade. Lies felt heavier on the tongue. People spoke more carefully, as if every word would be heard somewhere beyond this world. The dead did not punish. They reminded. They carried a single question in their silence. What did you do with the time we lost? Slowly, they began to disappear. Not all at once. Not suddenly. A mother hugged her daughter and asked for forgiveness. And the dead woman beside her smiled. And vanished. A man returned stolen rights. And the dead man watching him faded into light. When understanding appeared, the dead no longer needed to stay. Finally, my father looked at me. Will you leave too? I asked. When you stop postponing yourself, he replied. And then he was gone. The world returned to normal. But nothing was the same. Because now we knew. Death is not the end. And life is not guaranteed. The real miracle was never their return. It was what their return forced us to remember. That we are being watched. Not by the dead, but by our own conscience.